Our meeting is about to start.
I better turn my phone off.
Here a little longer, but I'm not saying that's right. We kind of stuff.
I'd like to first start by welcoming our visitors, those both here in chamber and online. I now call to order the December 2nd, 2021 regular Board of Aldermen meeting. If you would, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Alderman Becker.
Here.
Alderman Rucker.
Here.
Alderman Ross.
Here.
Alderman Morose.
Here.
Alderman Osteen.
Here.
Mayor Albery.
Here. We do have a quorum. First item of business is always mayor's communications, and I have nothing this evening. Our second item is citizens' communication. This is time set aside on the agenda for citizens and visitors to address the mayor and board on any topic that is not a public hearing, and there is a public hearing on tonight's agenda. For those here in person, speakers will be restricted to 3 minutes unless otherwise permitted. Minutes may not be donated or transferred from one speaker to another. Visitors attending via online will be in listen-only mode. Any questions or comments for the mayor and board may be sent to the city clerk at tberreth@osagebeach.org no later than 10 a.m. on the board meeting date, which is the first and third Thursday of each month. Submitted questions and comments may be read during the citizens' communication section of the agenda. The Board of Aldermen will not take action on any item not listed on the agenda, nor will it respond to questions, although staff may be directed to respond at a later time. The Mayor and Board of Aldermen welcome and value input and feedback from the public. Is there anyone here in person who would like to address the board? All right. Seeing none, we did receive an email from Kimberly, and Kimberly, if you're listening online, if I butcher your last name, I apologize. I'm going to pronounce it as Koford, which we received on November 5th, 2021, which will be entered into the minutes, and a copy will be provided has already been provided to each member of the board. Her request is this: Dear City Council, I have lived in Osage Beach for 5 years and love this community. I agree with most of the policies we have in place here in Missouri, and I want to thank you for all the work locally that has been put into it. I can tell that the policies here are being put into effect for the good of the people, not for the personal gains, and I thank you for that. I live on Lazy Days Road, the very large Lazy Days condominium complex is at the end of our road. Many, many people walk their dogs and jog along the side of Lazy Days Road. Having 2 dogs of my own, I've noticed that the sidewalk is not in very good repair. It is narrow, cracked, and hard to walk and run on. We have to walk single file, and if we walk a little bit on the side of the road, it is frightening when cars come speeding by. Some drivers move over a bit to avoid coming too close, but others pass by without moving over at all. It is dangerous. Earlier this week, as my family and I were walking, a school bus came up behind us. The bus was not allowed to cross the double yellow to avoid us. The bus driver honked the horn, which scared the daylights out of us and the dogs. Earlier this week, I am sure that many others in the neighborhood would agree with me when I say that I would like to be able to walk on a wide, smooth sidewalk. Is there anything that can be done about this problem? If so, I, and I'm sure many others, would be very appreciative for a solution. Please take my thoughts into consideration. And Ms. Colford, thank you for your input. Your email will be forwarded to staff for review and comments. All right, we move on now to the approval of the consent agenda. If the board desires a consent agenda, may be approved by a single motion. Tonight's agenda consists of the minutes of the board of Aldermen meeting minutes, November 18th, 2021, the December 2nd, 2021 bills list. Are there any questions, comments, or proposed revisions? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Alderman Becker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Rose, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is approved. We move to unfinished business. Our only unfinished business this evening is requesting a second reading by title only of ordinance number 21.77, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending section 510.030 of the city ordinances to create procedures for accepting streets into the city public road system directly by the Board of Aldermen when certain conditions have not been met. The first reading for this unfinished item was approved on or during our November 18th regular meeting. Are there any additional comments from Assistant City Administrator?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the board? If none, is there a motion to approve second reading?
Approved.
Alderman Ross, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, roll call, please.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Becker?
Yes.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. We move now to new business. Our first item of new business is a public hearing, the City of Osage Beach FY 2022 operating budget. City Administrator.
Yes, Mayor, members of the board. So a public hearing is required to precede the adoption of the budget. So historically, we put the public hearing right before the first reading. So I'll kind of just cover the update in the public hearing that also will be for the same comments for the first reading that will follow. Fiscal year 2022 Draft 2 is a result from our workshop meetings that we had end of October, 1st of November. A few things were updated from Draft 1, and I did do a quick summary in the summary sheet for the budget. We updated the Board of Aldermen approved changes to personnel schedule, operation and maintenance, and as well as capital expenditures. As you recall, there was a few capital expenditures that were excluded and then a couple that were included. We did do some minor adjustments to the fiscal year 2021 year-end estimates due to more up-to-date financial data from October 31st. When we are putting together draft number 1, we are estimating back from August to September through the end of the year. So once we get to draft number 2, we've had 2 or 3 sometimes financial statement periods pass. So there were some updates based on new information. I did correct a few errors that were found. Sometimes there were just typos or a formula calculation. There was a couple minor formula calculations. I did update a training line item for additional management training. That was something that in error I forgot to add. So that did add a few $100s to for each supervisor to continue the leadership training that we had started last year. To balance out the budget, there were 2 projects that were added back to general fund that I did not initially include in draft 1, but after department reports, the board approved to add them back. And to balance that out without using reserves, I did include those funded through CIT. That was the amount of $404,303. That was the 2 projects were approved by the board to add, but it was not discussed on the funding. So to keep it balanced and to keep our reserves protected, that did include a transfer from CIT. Sewer CIT transfers did increase as well because there were some additions to O&M in that particular fund as well. All funds are balanced. All funds have fully reserves per our policy, and I did include in the packet a few more details to explain that. And the total fiscal year 2022 expenditures that will be asking for adoption is $33,068,462. One other question I did get, just for clarity, the Pruitt Point TIF fund, you will notice that I am including that request to be $0. The reason that you will not find that dropped off is because our official budget document does require historical numbers. So Pruitt's Point TIF still has historical financial details. So this year, yes, it is still in the budget, but it's at $0 because that TIF has been closed. So until you see that fall off of the official budget document, it will be $0 for a few more years. Another thing that I did add really for the public, additional information that I normally include in the final budget when we do that in December or January for the final product, is budget revenue sources and uses. It's always good for the public to feel like they have a clarity in their budget. The budget is a spending plan for the board. It outlines the accounting and financial details that hopefully support the city's standard or city's strategies, which is what you all set in policy. And the complete document also is a very important transparency and clarity piece. So hence why you have historical information, hence why you have a lot of charts, organizational chart, pay plan chart, personnel details. So it's more for clarity and transparency, not just for you all as the elected body, but also for the community. So one other piece, I take that a couple steps further in the final document. So I did include that. It just kind of breaks down by our programs and services, where the uses of the revenue is and where we get the source of the revenue. I will answer any questions, should you have it on draft number 2.
Okay. Before I open the public hearing, are there any questions from the board? Seeing none, and now open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to comment either for or against this request? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. And we move on to the next item, which is requesting a first reading of Bill number 2178, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, adopting an annual budget for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2022, and ending December 31, 2022, and appropriating funds pursuant to thereto. City Administrator.
I have no additional comments unless there's some specifics that, any corrections, additions, or any questions that I can answer on the financial details.
Okay. Again, are there any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve first reading?
Motion to approve first reading.
Alderman Rucker, do I have a second? Alderman Becker, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? First reading passes. Our final item this evening requests a first reading of Bill number 2179, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, appointing to the Board of Directors of the Osage Beach Commons Community Improvement District, John Oliver Mayor as a city representative, and Gina Woods, City Administrator, as a city representative. City Attorney.
And thank you, Mayor. Yes, we have an Osage Beach Commons Community Improvement District. There are 5 members on that district board. 3 of the members are the President of the Board of Aldermen, the City Administrator, and the Mayor. Last May, when the Mayor made his appointments and the board ratified those in the minutes, the President of the Board of Aldermen was appointed. We need to reappoint the Mayor and the City Administrator. They're on different terms. I talked to Doug Stone, the lawyer for Osage Beach Commons Community Improvement District. He didn't ask for a specific ordinance reappointing the President of the Board of Aldermen. So this is basically legal housekeeping.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? With none, is there a motion to approve first reading?
So moved.
Alderman Morose, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Becker, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? First reading passes. All right, now we move on to communications, starting with members of the board. Alderman Ross.
I hope everyone enjoys some great weather we're having in December tomorrow, and I have nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Morose.
Truly, I have nothing to say. Thank you.
Alderman Osteen.
I have two items, actually. Can anyone update us on the parking lot situation for Harmy's Cheese Store? Didn't we have a cutoff date for that to be completed by tomorrow?
Ron is out of the office, but I was told today that his parking lot got paved.
I
So
was
that's the
by,
only update I have.
I was by last night and saw that it looks like the paving has taken place.
Okay.
Yes,
Mayor,
yes,
they were paving yesterday morning when I came in because the asphalt trucks were lined up in the center turn lane.
right. And everything looked like it was done as agreed to.
I'll make sure Ron, when he returns tomorrow, gets an email out in case there's more details.
Okay,
That work?
just wanted an update since we had a timeline,
Sure.
a very short
Sure.
timeline for him
Yep.
to complete that. My second item is to talk about the outlet mall. I want to commend Dr. Foster and his son Chris Foster for the purchase of the outlet mall. I have actually met with them and the developer and have seen the plans, and it is very ambitious. Quite a lot will be going on in that complex. I don't think I'm at liberty to discuss it right here or now, but it will definitely be a boon to the lake being a destination vacation spot, because what they have planned there is very unique. Let's leave it at that. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Becker.
I have nothing, thank you. Good.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes, sir. A couple items. First of all, want to commend the road crews out there. They're doing a heck of a good job with their leaf blowing. I had the opportunity to watch them a couple different times, and I guess they didn't know, maybe recognize me because I wasn't in my car that has my name on it. It was in my other one, and so my license plate. But I didn't think they might have been concerned if somebody was spying on them, but they were doing a good job and very well attentively watching where the leaves go and cleaning the road up. I mean, just not sucking up leaves, but cleaning the road. There's a difference, and that's what they had been done. The lights on the building look great out there for the holiday season, Christmas, and as well as the road up and down the expressway or the parkway. So hats off to the guys and gals for doing that. Looks very good. As far as the park goes, my grandson will be grading that tonight if he's still awake when I get home. Papa promised him a tour of the park tonight, so we'll let him.
You might have to wait till tomorrow night. We're having technical difficulties tonight.
Well, that's good to know before we take him down there.
Right.
Thank you, I
asleep when
appreciate
you
that.
get
That is very much appreciated.
Technical difficulties.
Because it'd be all my fault why they don't work. Papa, what did you do? So anyway, so thank you on that. Question, Mayor, since now we've had two different letters that have responded to the board, what is the procedural going to be? I assume what you've done to the point is the procedure, but I guess what I'm looking at is I would like to know what the answers are to these questions.
Right.
So is staff writing them a response or verbalizing a response, and can we make sure that we get copied in? Because again,
Well, it's been referred to the city administrator. Both of them have been referred to the city administrator for response, to investigate. And if we need to discuss those issues before responding, that will be brought to the board. If there is a direct response, a copy will be forwarded to you also. You have that.
I assume if there's any decision, but I'm just interested in okay, I mean, there's some good questions that came up there. It's like, okay, I don't have the answers, so.
Right.
Well, I do wait until, like, the last one was officially read, it was officially in the minutes, and so I actually responded to that lady today. I will go back and forward you guys the copy of the information that I provided her. Now that this one's been officially in the record and read, depending on what kind of research or data needs to be, I kind of wait till it hits the board level first, and then when asked formally to do that, then we'll respond. But no problem, I will get you guys copies.
Yeah, appreciate that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. City administrator.
I do not really have anything other than I appreciate the budget process. I know we got one more meeting. There's a few pieces of work that we do with the budget to kind of make it a final document. So come January, you'll get an official electronic and/or hard copy if that's what you prefer. I know the first few months of January, we're already planning kind of work and staff things, so you'll be getting some emails from me because I would like a head start on scheduling a few meetings with you all that we've discussed. We've got to sit down together and have a discussion about ARPA funds. I know I've discussed with one of the aldermen, I hate to say it, but planning the first 6 months of the year is here, and get a head start on planning your guys' strategic planning meeting. And, you know, even if we can get that sooner, I know last year was later than it had been, and then we did some management. So be on the lookout for some emails from me, kind of figuring out what your summer and plans are in the next 6 to 8 months, so I can plan accordingly in enough time. So that's it.
Okay, city attorney.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
City clerk.
Oh, I'm good, thank you.
Chief.
Just to let everybody know, our 2 recruits graduate December 17th, and we'll be starting on the road on Monday, the 20th. We'll get them in here that morning, get them sworn in, and then they'll go to their shifts. I'll send out the graduation details. It's in Columbia, so I don't know if anybody will want to attend with us or not, but they'll be there. We're testing 6 individuals next week. I believe it's 3 with current academy and 3 for the recruit position possibly. And we have 15 applications for communications that we're working on scheduling, interview and testing.
Great.
So
All right. Anything else, chief?
that's it.
Where's the academy at that you're speaking of, Todd? I'm sorry.
LETI in Columbia. And it's at 9 o'clock at Grace Bible Church. I don't have address or anything. They just announced the location yesterday. Oh, I do have one more thing. The next board meeting, I'll be presenting recommendations for purchase of body cams.
Okay.
We've finally got all the
Evaluation.
the evaluations are just about done, and we'll have that recommendation to y'all.
Good, thanks. All right. City planner.
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
City treasurer.
Nothing.
Excuse me.
Human resources.
HR.
It's short.
Yeah. Assistant city administrator.
Just a quick update on staffing at Public Works. Unfortunately, we have lost 3 of our sewer employees in the last month, so we are back down to 4. We are aggressively trying to fill those positions, and I'll give you an update once I find out more. And then water foreman interviews will start to take place at the end of next week, early the following week, so hopefully we'll have that position filled in short order as well. That's all I have, thank you.
Okay. You want to explain what happened at the park, just so that one of our aldermen who was planning on taking their grandchild there has an idea what's going on?
Unfortunately, Alderman Rucker, we had some vandalism to one of our electrical meters that basically handles half of the lights. And so I didn't really want to leave it open with only half the lights on. So we are hoping that we can scramble and get Ameren down to put us a new meter in tomorrow and be back up and running tomorrow night. That's the plan. We'll see if that works out.
Thanks. All right, thank you. Mr. Van Leer with Cochran Engineering.
I'm already, Alderman Osteen, did you get a copy of this?
Yes.
You haven't, okay. Thanks. Tonight I wanted to give a little bit of an update on the Autumn Lane project. You have an exhibit in front of you to get you oriented a little bit. On the left-hand side of your page, that would be south, and that would be as if you were coming from Three Seasons Road, coming down Autumn Lane towards Shorty Pants. So you'll see on the exhibit, the gray hatching is existing pavement, blue hatching is new pavement, the yellow indicates where we're putting new curbing, and the red hatching indicates new entrances at existing driveways. So this is very similar to the project as we presented it to you several months ago. We're looking at 2 9-foot wide lanes for a total pavement width of 18 feet, curb and gutter on both sides of the street. The pavement section will be 4 inches of pavement on top of 10 inches of base rock. This project consists of about 450 feet of new roadway, and we're still comfortable with the previous estimate we gave you, which was just a little over $154,000 for construction. One component of the project I failed to mention, if you look in about the middle of the project, you'll see some storm sewer that we're putting in. That's at the low point in the road. There's a fairly significant drainage that comes down the hill right there that we need to pass under the road, and then we'll also be collecting all the water on the road at that location and then discharging to the lake. I think that's really what I had for a presentation. We have all right-of-way documents signed, excluding one property that we're still working on. So we will, over the next couple months here, we'll work on getting that finalized for the one property, and then look at bidding this here over the next couple months and getting construction started in the spring.
Any questions from the board? Yes, Alderman Morose.
Yes, so what are you looking at weather-wise or whatever, and with the improvement as far as as far as getting this completed?
Timeframe?
Timeframe,
Yeah, we would hope to start in the spring as soon as the weather,
I'm sorry,
we'd hope to start in the spring as soon as the weather allows, so March.
not till March.
Yeah, probably what we look at, and if, could be
Okay.
snowing in March, so maybe April. This is probably this is a 2 to 3 month project, I would say. So looking to be wrapping this up probably midsummer.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right, Dave, thank you very much. Anything else?
The only other thing I had was Mace Road. If you've been out there, I think things look pretty good. Hopefully you've had a chance to go out and see it. The paving is done. Sidewalks are still going in. They're actually working on sidewalks today. They're nearing completion there. Here over the next couple of days, they'll be striping the road and then coming in with seed and straw, and there's some areas that get some rock. But here over the next couple of weeks, that project should pretty much be wrapping up, and we'll be able to close it out.
Good. Yeah, the only thing that's left is what, just seed, straw, and some concrete work. The asphalting is all done from what I could see.
Yeah. All the asphalt's down, yes.
That's what I thought.
It looks good. That was a long time coming, but it's here, and it has turned out really nice. And I hope that the folks who've lived down there and used that road, appreciate it, because it was an expensive road. All right. That's all as far as communications. We did have a executive session posted for this evening, but the board will not go into executive session. So with that being said, our business for this evening is complete. And
Whoa, you got some hands.
Excuse me,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. I probably should have commented the time that you asked for communications regarding the letter that Kimberly, I can't pronounce her last name, Kofod, that sent about the Lazy Days Road. I did contact her, and I truly appreciate and respect the fact that the sidewalk along Lazy Days is totally in disrepair. And as I explained to her, I said, the city is working on many sidewalks on lake roads, and we will do whatever we can with scheduling and with expenses and priority. And I said, we truly appreciate her concern because we want to help. I just didn't want her to be or anyone think on Lazy Days that we're avoiding them. And there's just so much time and money that the city can spend. And I know they have a lot of people that walk, because that's a heavily populated area off Lazy Days, without a doubt. So I just wanted to let you know that she has been contacted. I let Alderman Becker know, because he and I are in the same ward, and that we will do whatever we can with time allowed and money in our budget. But anyway, I just want to thank you. All right, that's it.
anyone else? All right, if that's the case, then our business for this evening is complete, and we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
I did.
All right. Be safe driving home. Watch out for those deer.
If you can use it.
You got your whistles on there?
I don't use it.
Yeah.
Okay.